So House Speaker Mike Johnson is working closely with the Trump transition team. And this is encouraging to me to see how well, so far, they seem to be working together. The Speaker invited Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to the Hill today, where they'll have a series of meetings to talk about what this new agency, DOGE, the Government Efficiency Committee that Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy will be heading up. Speaker Johnson kind of laid it all out in an interview yesterday. He was on with Martha McCallum on Fox News, where he didn't mince words. He talked about how government is too big, we have too much regulation, and you may recall that was one of the marquees of the Trump first administration. He slashed a lot of government red tape, and regulation is as bad as high taxes in some situations. It really just strangles businesses to be able to operate the way they should. Trump was able to slash a lot of that, and Joe Biden, in his first day in office, with those executive orders that he's so proud of signing, just eliminated some of the good work that Donald Trump had done. Now's the time to put those back in place and to eliminate some of that red tape, and I think Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy will do a great job as two successful business people who will be able to recognize what's really hurting business from growing and providing good-paying jobs. The Speaker, with Martha McCallum yesterday, though, talked about how government's just too big, how government is strangling some of these small businesses. Here's Speaker Mike Johnson.
We've got a long list of areas where we know there are waste, fraud, and abuses, and Oversight Committee's been doing a lot of aggressive work on that. Well, in the Oversight Committee in the House, we've just created a new subcommittee that will be laser focused on that, finding the places for the easy cuts. And then it's about scaling back the regulatory state. I mean, we use the term weaponization. That's what's happened over the last 4 years, that most of these three-letter agencies that are supposed to be serving the people are actually working directly against them and their interest. We have whole industries that have faced existential threats to their very existence because they're literally being smothered with red tape. And so it's a lot of methodical work that it takes to go through and reduce and restore really the freedom
with all
and the free
respect,
market.
Speaker, so some people listen and go, okay, we got a subcommittee, we got, it's going to take a while, understandably. But, you know, you look at the example in Argentina, Milei, there, the president, has cut 10% of the workforce. He has shuttered 13 government agencies. He's doing things that nobody thought was possible, that economists up and down said, you know, you can't do that. You can't do that. And he's doing it. Musk wants to take government agencies from 428 to 99. Can it be done?
We certainly hope so. We want to be willing partners in that. And we have a new ability to do this now. Remember, the Supreme Court overturned the Chevron doctrine, right? That's a game-changing kind of situation. Not in my lifetime, but we had the opportunity to go in and really take back control from the administrative state. For a long time, they've been acting as judge, jury, and executioner on the rules that they make on industries and small business owners and the rest. So we have the ingredients, we have the conditions right now to actually be able to make really dramatic change.
And again, I love how this is sounding. We have to keep their feet to the fire. We have to keep the pressure and make sure that they don't get cold feet and they move forward with this. Because, as I've said before, I am so excited about the whole idea of DOGE and what they can do and what Elon Musk and what Vivek Ramaswamy, as two successful business people, can actually do. I mean, if you look at this, this isn't just a symbolic gesture. President Trump has tapped these two heavy hitters, these two very successful business people, to lead the charge. And I hope that Speaker Johnson and the majority leader in the Senate, Senator Thune, and all the leaders in Congress will just get out of their way, take their advice, and do what they suggest. They were mentioning the subcommittee that the Speaker has appointed, and of course Marjorie Taylor Greene is chairman of that subcommittee. Another good one to have in there to really take a hard look at our bulging government and just not be afraid to cut some of these agencies out. Now, they're not going to cut things that provide essential services, and what we're going to hear in the coming months are scare tactics from the Democrats as they're going to oppose this, because the Democrats, they love big government. They love adding these positions to pay their cronies big salaries, and they're doing nothing. They're causing our life to be harder. But I think Donald Trump knows he has 4 years here, and I think and at the pace that he is appointing the leaders in his new administration, I think we're going to see that. There's a lot of talk about the first 100 days. We're going to see a lot happen in those first 100 days because Donald Trump knows that he was given a mandate, and he's the type of person that he just wants to do this because he said he's going to do it. Unlike Joe Biden, who says things and he doesn't mean them, Donald Trump really wants to make government efficient. And he's choosing people who aren't afraid, people who are outside of the government, people who don't have an axe to grind necessarily, but they see how our government is running so inefficiently. And in their businesses, now, Elon Musk, I'm sure, with his businesses, he has so much government red tape and regulation that he has to deal with. He's a good one to go in and start cutting some of that out, literally with a surgical knife, to eliminate some of the things that are holding future growth back, and just let private entities, let businesses, let the mom and pop stores, let them do their business, do what they do best, and make money, grow the economy, create good paying jobs. And we're going to see that a lot. DOGE represents, I think, a once in a generation. We've never seen anything like this before, to where we really had people who have the ability to zero in on our government and look at it not from a bureaucrat standpoint and not from a career politician standpoint, but from a business standpoint, just common sense. And that's what really gets me excited about this whole thing with Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but I really believe we're going to see something happen. One more thing before I move on from this whole idea of the we're talking about the $42+ billion that was set aside as part of the infrastructure bill to provide high-speed internet around the country. And they haven't provided it to one person yet. Now that's directly from Brendan Carr, one of the FCC commissioners who regulates that. Now, some of you have texted in saying, well, there's been some local initiatives where you have been able to get service. That could have been by your service provider. But Brendan Carr, the FCC commissioner, says not one person has received service yet because they haven't built anything. There's no infrastructure there. Another example, though, is Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg struggled to explain also why Biden has only built 7 or 8 electric vehicle charging stations when that was one of the big parts of the infrastructure bill as well, was to build all of these charging stations around the country to serve the electric vehicles that Joe Biden wants to force you and me to buy. Here's Pete Buttigieg.
The Federal Highway Administration says only 7 or 8 charging stations have been produced with a $7.5 billion investment that taxpayers made back in 2021. Why isn't that happening more quickly?
So the president's goal is to have 500,000 chargers up by the end of this decade. Now, in order to do a charger, it's more than just plunking a small device into the ground. There's utility work, and this is also really a new category of federal investment. But we've been working with each of the 50 states. Every one of them is getting formula dollars to do this work, engaging them in the first handful. Again, by 2030, 500,000 chargers. And the very first handful of chargers are now already being physically built.
Of chargers. Now, again, the funding was approved in 2021. That was in May of this year when Buttigieg was struggling to explain this. You think they're going to reach their goal at this pace? And he talks about, he tried to make the excuse, well, you know, it takes a while to do this, a lot of infrastructure. So how does Tesla build their charging stations so quickly? They're everywhere. I noticed just the other day I was at a restaurant in my hometown in upstate South Carolina in Greenville, and there's a restaurant, and in the parking area, there are like 10 or 15 Tesla's charging stations there. As we came out from dinner that night, you saw people sitting in their cars over there, which I think is kind of goofy anyway. I mean, I'm not a big fan of electric vehicles. If you like them, great. It's your choice to buy them. Just don't make me buy one. But if Elon Musk can buy them or can build them in areas all around the country to serve his cars, why can't the federal government do so? And this is why I think that people like Elon Musk are going to be so effective.